It is Sunday, Japan, and we have Wonderfest Winter 2019.
It is the future in Japan, 2019.
And we got
it's spring over there.
We got some news drops that are absolutely bonkers. Stuff that we did not expect at all. Not even had the most trickle of suggestion of information. So here at
People
Slag,
kept their lips closed this time around. I'm surprised.
Oh yeah. So here at Slag, we're going to jump into this headstrong and just let you know like what we think of this stuff and how crazy it is. So we're going to start with the first one. In my opinion, the one that I really didn't expect the most out of everything here, and that is a masterpiece Blackarachnia.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
How
is what? Okay. So when I saw this come up in the news, I was like, "What?" And I was like, "How did they get it so show accurate?" And also, another thing I want to point out: weren't we talking about a third-party small Blackarachnia too?
I was literally going to bring this up because I've always said
we
it's
should have known.
We've said this so many times on the podcast. Like a very good indicator of what Hasbro and Takara are doing is sometimes when third-party companies rush to do it themselves first because they really know what's going on the inside beforehand because a lot of the same factories share the same structure. So we had, I believe it was Transform Element, third-party Blackarachnia done in a legend scale.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like singing the praises of that and going like, oh my God, I got to get this. This is going to probably be the best Blackarachnia toy we're going to have for a long while. And I mean, when we discussed even Masterpiece, Masterpiece as a line, we would always see how, Decepticon characters do okay because of Japan. And, I was saying how the success of the Beast Wars Dinobot and Megatron are really going to help us determine if they're going to want to even move forward with other characters, let alone villain characters.
Yeah.
But I always said that me personally, if I wanted to do another villain character, it would have to be people like Blackarachnia or Pterosaur.
People that didn't really get great toys, I guess.
Yeah,
I'm trying to remember. The Pterosaur was just a flip changer, right?
It was just a flip changer, so you couldn't really.
It came out with Razorback, if I remember right.
Razor Beast.
Okay.
Yeah, like it couldn't. I mean, Blackarachnia was just one of those toys that it was just a Tarantulas repaint.
Yeah.
And then she would get better repaints, but it's still that same mold. So it's like the version we got in America was like purple and ugly and terrible. And then Japan, when they got their version, was slightly better. And then you move forward, and then Japan got their Telemocha version, and that was slightly better compared to that one. But again, still a Tarantulas repaint, so still bulky and ugly. And then, you fast forward to the Legends line with Sakamoto, and we had that like really good retool of the animated mold. And it was there, but it still wasn't there. You know what I mean? So then we had that third-party one that we were discussing a couple of weeks ago, and we were singing the praises of that. And I was going like, this is about as good as it's going to get, and we're probably never going to get a Masterpiece Blackarachnia. At most, we will get a really good Generations one, maybe officially down the line. But, well...
And then Hasbro and Tommy Takara were like, hold my beer.
Yeah, hold my beer. I'll show you how it's done. This is, you know what? The first thing I want to point out about this is when I was looking at, again, the third-party one, how in order to make sense of the... I guess we'll call it the arachnid thorax or the butt. I don't see how it's going on here, because with that third party one, it was clearly using a weapon and parts forming and stuff like that. I don't know where it's tucked in here.
I have a sneaking suspicion it might be in the thighs.
Mm-hmm. It's a possibility.
It could be the thighs. There's like a little clip thingy there on the side of her thigh. It could be there, but I mean, I could be wrong.
Well, a big issue with
I think that's the only way I could see it working.
A big issue with Blackarachnia also was the contrast from her alt mode, like her Black Widow mode. The only thing that really had any kind of gold/bronze on her was her legs. Yeah. Everything else was kind of black as expected. And then when the transformation happens, there's almost a very primary gold color scheme. So it's a matter of how do you tuck away most of that stuff. I'm pretty sure we're gonna, if we've learned anything from Dinobot is they figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. They wouldn't be showing it off if they didn't get it.
Yeah. Second thing I want to point out about Blackarachnia, is it cold in here or is it just me? I was like, I'm,
well,
and you know.
Well, remember before you were saying that, I don't know if we weren't sure if they're going to do another bad guy character. And, like, Blackarachnia is like that nice gray middle where she was originally a Maximal that got kind of reprogrammed into a Decepticon, but then she still acknowledges that, like, if Megatron wins, she dies as well because she's not an idiot. She could put two and two together. Even she's the one that, like, calls out Starscream, like, nah, wait, you didn't die in the Great War. You betrayed Megatron and you got killed.
Yeah, she was in a lot of ways an anti-hero, if anything.
She was like an anti-hero. She's more in it for herself. She's the femme fatale. She didn't really play any either side. And then also, the fact that, she looked very hot helps a lot. So, I mean, why not take on this challenge, this engineering challenge, like to make the 3D model and the alt mode reality.
Yeah.
The only thing I find is a bit weird is that we don't have an alt mode here, but I guess they're not ready to show that off.
Yeah, from what we see, like, and same thing, the spider web that's included, what I find bizarre about it is that spider web that's assuming it's included with it, that's something that's not actually related to Blackarachnia, at least not to my knowledge. I'm reminded of the episode Tangled Web, which was, I believe, episode 3 or 4 of Beast Wars Season 1, which Cheetor was attached to this. Now, I don't know if this is an accessory that's included, so you could just put Cheetor on it and reenact that. And then maybe down the line we'll get a Tarantulas. Again, I'm already stretching.
It'd be funny if this is like the fake out for the actual Tarantulas toy that's already done and complete.
Probably, it's possible. But then I would imagine they would include, they would include this spider web with Tarantulas. But Tarantulas also, if they would have extras, it would have like his little drone guys or all kinds of little stuff. Tarantulas is a more Shockwave character, so there's all kinds of little extras that could be thrown in with him. But I mean, it has this base. It looks spectacular. I do agree. It would be cool to see an alt mode of some kind. Obviously, everything looks great in grayscale prototype. So, because you get to see all the details pop, including her. Again, is it cold in here? But this looks spectacular. This is everything I wanted. Everything that I am always said to myself. I always say anything could happen in Transformers. There's no rules anymore. But I always apply logic from a business standpoint of what makes sense in that industry. And when we were talking about Dinobot and Megatron and his price, and if people didn't buy it, this would affect the ongoing. I think what probably happened was when Dinobot came out, what was it, October, a little bit before October, when TFCon Chicago passed, or was it was Chicago.
Yeah, it was October.
Man,
October.
You do so many, you forget.
It's October. The way I always think about TFCon USA or Chicago, at least, is that it technically, I feel it happens in October-ish.
Yeah. So the point is that, like, I think that, I mean, I saw, and you saw on my Twitter and everything.
Jeez, yeah.
plenty of people were buying Masterpiece Dinobots. So regardless of how expensive he was, people pulled the trigger. And I think, and that's a, mind you, again, that's a microcosm example. Oh, well, that doesn't reflect the entire world. But, I mean, if it is a reflection of what's going on in the rest of the world, Dinobot was a success.
Yeah.
Regardless of his value.
And then what is going to be the price of Blackarachnia 2? Like, that's a lot of engineering in there. Like, they're going all in on this engineering, you know what I mean? Like,
but also a considerably smaller figure. Dinobot was a large guy, like bigger than Primal and stuff. Blackarachnia, I'm gonna take a guess right now that more Cheetor price point, which was a lot more affordable. It's like the bells and whistles that could be included to try to justify a more expensive price point. I don't know about that. I mean, she's gonna have her weapon. Maybe a string. She has this web here, which is already like something that I don't really associate much with her. It's more that Energon web that was used by Tarantulas, entangled web. We don't know much else at the moment, but this is amazing. This is a day one purchase for me.
I do like the little pegs inside of her pincer hands.
Oh yeah, that's
so you can
again
see where,
for the weapon.
how she holds her weapon.
Yeah, for sure. The way that I see this is, what I like about this especially is that when this comes out, if it is in that Cheetor price point, it's going to be very successful. Female Transformer fans are going to get behind this. Male Transformer fans are going to get behind this. Even guys who are casual Transformer fans in Japan, because again, I always think about Japan, because Japan's the first front of who's purchasing this stuff. Casual Transformer fans from Japan who are male, who just like sexy action figures, it's a part of the culture over there. Sexy action figures are just the name of the game. Go to Akihabara, throw a rock, you're going to hit one.
Yeah.
It's going to hit that market too. So it's very smart, this release, because it's something that it's going to be successful. And it's going to be successful to the point that then Takara is going to look at themselves and go, oh, hey, we could do another Predacon. And then probably whoever they follow up with probably won't be successful. I know it makes it sound negative, but at least what's good is you get Blackarachnia out there, she'll be successful. And then when they do Pterosaur and he doesn't sell well, as much as I'd love it, because that's what I want.
Yeah, me too.
As much as I would want that, it's just I feel that I'm glad that they went with Blackarachnia, because I don't really know how much they could get behind Beast Wars when, I don't know, it's just Japan just doesn't have the connection that we do, and the price points are always worrying me. But, I mean, Dinobot was successful. I had a worry with Dinobot because of how expensive he was and how many people were willing to pull the trigger, but I think people were waiting so long to just get that perfect Dinobot figure that everyone felt it was justified. And again, in a world today where we have Hot Toys and we have Integrity and we have Toner and all these
we have a lot.
really expensive high-end, even the large-scale NECA stuff, like we have all these really high-end doll/action figure kind of lines that push that 3-digit price point, that it's no surprise that our end-all be-all high-end Transformer stuff could sometimes skirt that $300 value. I mean, again, the flip side of the argument is I always say how much people pay for third party sometimes astounds me.
Exactly.
So, I mean, whatever she's going to cost, and I know that this is silly of me to say this, but whatever she's going to cost, she's going to get pre-ordered by me. Like, it's just, I want this to be successful. That way we could get at least one more or two more. And I like how they displayed her with a few of the other, quote, former Predacon or current Predacon masterpiece. Like you clearly see Megatron, Shadow Panther, and Dinobot.
Yeah.
So it's like, this is great. This is spectacular. I mean, looking at it from an engineering standpoint, we can't really figure out too much what's going on. Like you mentioned before, to the thighs for a possibility of the thorax. If you've owned a Blackarachnia figure or the Legends one, they kind of transform the same way, so it puts you in the right direction. But we'll definitely learn more when time comes.